4-3-3. Pep Guardiola's signature formation looks simple on paper, but it's how he uses it that's revolutionary. 4 defenders, 3 midfielders, and 3 forwards. But the players don't stay in these positions. They move, rotate, and create patterns that confuse opponents and dominate games. Let's break down how Pep's tactics work, starting with the foundation of everything he does: positional play. At the heart of Pep's philosophy is positional play, or juego de posición in Spanish. This isn't just about keeping the ball, it's about controlling space through precise positioning. Pep divides the pitch into zones, 5 vertical channels and multiple horizontal lines. His 2 key rules are simple. Only 1 or 2 players can occupy a vertical channel at once. Players must always form triangles to provide passing options. This creates what Pep calls superiorities. Numerical superiority, more players; positional superiority, better positions; and qualitative superiority, better players in key areas. Look at Barcelona's midfield under Pep. Busquets, Xavi and Iniesta formed perfect triangles. Each player had at least 2 passing options, making it nearly impossible to press them effectively. At City, we see the same principles. Rodri forms triangles with the centre-backs and inverted fullbacks. The wingers stay wide to stretch the pitch, and the attacking midfielders find pockets of space between the lines. This is why Pep's teams dominate possession. It's not just about keeping the ball, it's about using precise positioning to always have a free man. Inverted fullbacks. Traditionally, fullbacks stay wide, running up and down the touchline. But Pep had a different idea. What if they moved into midfield instead? When Manchester City have the ball, Kyle Walker and João Cancelo don't stay wide. They tuck inside, becoming extra midfielders. This creates 2 massive advantages. First, it gives City numerical superiority in midfield. Instead of having 2 or 3 midfielders, they suddenly have 4 or 5. Imagine you're playing football in the playground. If your team has 5 players in the middle, and the other team only has 3, who's going to control the game? You are every time. Second, it confuses the opposition. When a fullback moves inside, who should mark them? The opposing winger. But then they're pulled out of position. A midfielder. But then they leave space elsewhere. But this only works because Pep's players are so comfortable on the ball. His fullbacks need to be able to receive the ball under pressure and make quick decisions like midfielders. False 9. Now let's talk about one of Pep's most famous innovations, the false 9. A traditional number 9 stays high up the pitch, waiting for chances. The false 9 does the opposite. They drop deep into midfield, leaving no striker up front at all. Pep first used this tactic with Lionel Messi at Barcelona. Instead of staying between the centre-backs, Messi would drop into midfield, leaving a huge gap up front. This created a defensive nightmare. If centre-backs followed Messi, they left a huge hole in defence that wingers like Pedro and Villa could exploit. If they didn't follow him, Messi had space to turn and attack. It's like playing tag in the playground. If you chase someone, you leave your area unguarded. If you don't chase them, they have freedom to do what they want. At Manchester City, Pep has used this tactic with different players. Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, and even Phil Foden have all played as false 9s. And when they drop deep, players like Sterling, Mahrez, and Grealish attack the space behind. The false 9 isn't just about the player in that position. It's about creating confusion and exploiting the space that confusion creates. Build-up play. Pep's build-up play, how his teams move the ball from defence to attack, is methodical and precise. Most teams under pressure will clear the ball long. Not Pep's teams. They build from the back, no matter what. It starts with the goalkeeper, who acts as an 11th outfield player. Ederson at City isn't just there to stop shots. He's the first attacker, with passing range that many midfielders would envy. The centre-backs split wide, the full-backs invert, and the defensive midfielder drops between the centre-backs, creating a 3-2 structure. This gives 5 players to beat the first line of pressure. If the opposition commits players forward to press, spaces open up further ahead. If they don't press, Pep's team can advance up the pitch comfortably. It's like a chess game where Pep is always thinking 3 moves ahead. The build-up isn't just about getting out of pressure, it's about drawing the opposition in to create space elsewhere. The high defensive line. Pep's teams don't just attack differently, they defend differently too. His defensive line often sits near the halfway line, even when the opposition has the ball. This high line compresses the playing space, making it easier to press and win the ball back. It's why Pep's teams can dominate possession. They win the ball back quickly when they lose it. But it's risky. One long ball over the top, and the opposition striker could be through on goal. That's why Pep needs specific types of defenders. Quick, aggressive, and comfortable defending in space. At Barcelona he had Puyol and Piqué. At Bayern, Boateng and Hummels. At City, Stones and Dias. All comfortable defending high up the pitch, and he needs a sweeper keeper, a goalkeeper who can rush out and clear danger outside his box. Victor Valdez did it at Barcelona, Manuel Neuer at Bayern, and now Ederson at City. The high line is a gamble, but one that Pep is willing to take for the control it gives his team. Counter-pressing. When Pep's teams lose the ball, they don't immediately drop back. They counter-press. They try to win the ball back immediately. Pep has a 6-second rule. His players have 6 seconds to win the ball back after losing it. If they can't, then they drop into their defensive shape. This counter-press works because Pep's teams attack in compact shapes. When they lose the ball, they already have players nearby to press. And because they play with such a high line, there's less space for the opposition to escape the press. It's exhausting to play against. Just when you think you've won the ball, you're immediately under pressure again. Overloads. Another key Pep tactic is creating overloads, situations where his team has more players in a specific area than the opposition. The most common is on the wings. City will often shift multiple players to one side of the pitch. The winger, the attacking midfielder, the inverted fullback, and even the striker dropping wide. This creates a 4-2 or 4-3 situation that's almost impossible to defend. The opposition has to commit more players to that side, which then creates space on the opposite wing. These overloads aren't random. They're carefully choreographed patterns that Pep drills into his players on the training ground. Tactical flexibility. What makes Pep truly special is his tactical flexibility. His teams don't just have one way of playing, they can adapt mid-game. At Barcelona, he would sometimes switch from a 4-3-3 to a 3-4-3 during matches. At Bayern, he experimented with a 2-3-5 formation. At City, he's used everything from a 4-3-3 to a 3-2-5. This flexibility keeps opponents guessing. Just when they think they've figured out how to play against City, Pep changes the system. It's like playing chess against someone who can change the rules mid-game. How do you prepare for that? The Pep player. All these tactics require specific types of players. Pep doesn't just look for technical ability, though that's essential. He looks for intelligence and versatility. His players need to understand complex tactical instructions and make quick decisions under pressure. They need to be comfortable in multiple positions and roles. Look at Philipp Lahm, who Pep converted from a fullback to a midfielder at Bayern, or Fabian Delph, who went from midfielder to left-back at City, or Bernardo Silva, who's played as a winger, midfielder, and false nine. This versatility gives Pep options. It allows him to change tactics without changing personnel. So how do all these tactics work together? Let's see a complete example. City start with the goalkeeper, Ederson. The centre-backs split wide, the full-backs invert, and Rodri drops deep. They pass patiently, drawing the opposition forward. As they advance up the pitch, the false nine, let's say De Bruyne, drops deep to receive the ball. This pulls a centre-back out of position. Immediately the wingers attack the space behind. The ball is played wide to create an overload on one side. The opposition shifts across to defend. City quickly switch the play to the opposite wing, where they now have a 1-versus-1 situation. The winger beats his man, cuts the ball back to a midfielder arriving late in the box. Goal. This is Pep's football in a nutshell. Patient build-up, positional play to control the game, inverted fullbacks to dominate midfield, a false nine to create space in attack, and overloads to create scoring opportunities. Which of Pep's tactics do you think is the most difficult or easiest to implement? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed learning about football tactics, hit subscribe for more football explainer videos. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.